Okay, welcome back to another episode of The 12, our epic campaign of discovery and adventure across the continent of Port Verge. This story streams live Sundays at 6 p.m. Central here on 6:30 here on Javelin Entertainment. If you missed the last session, you can check it out on the channel page or by clicking the link down in the description. It's been a little while, but we're going to try and jump back into things here.
Last week, in the aftermath of the battle with the Red Ruin, our group had been sundered. Boko took the single survivor and brought him to a dark corner of a ship before stripping him, tying him up, and making his hands go limp. Despite the strange tattoos, the individual did appear to be a human, though he was anything but normal. Cade tried to find where Sindri had gone, and instead heard that they had been teleported across the Principalities to Port Verge. Roland found a massive pile of gold and a throne made of skin and bone. Despite strange feelings and occurrences, Boko couldn't contain his curiosity and crawled down into the gold, at least taking a rope this time. He scooped up a few handfuls of treasure before picking out some strange knickknacks here and there from several severed body parts. Luckily, Cade felt something wrong and began pulling Boko up right as a small red dragon burst out of the gold, nearly snapping Boko's lower half off. Preferring a higher elevation, away from the dragon, who was luckily maimed to no longer have wings or a breath attack, Roland looked across the captain's quarters and found a small lead box. Obviously, he had to open it and to touch it, and found the orb spoke to him. And now stop time around him as well. Cade tried to examine it and also heard a strange voice. They wavered through decisions, but Roland decided to tuck it away before the Red Ruin was blasted to the bottom of the ocean. What's the worst that could happen? The dead members of the Pride were laid to rest at sea, and they continued on towards the meeting point. Roland decided to take some time watching over the prisoner as the others went on to meet these fish boys. Apparently one of the fishies was the prince and brother of Erinyme, who wanted to take her back. However, Erinyme offered to escort the party up to Port Verge to rescue their lost crazy grandpa and his tiny rock friend. As our party prepared to walk with the plankton in an inner sanctum until they breach into a new city. What will our party do to avoid digestion? Will it behoove them to be heaved? What is happening to our two lost miscreants not within a large mouth? Let's tune in and find out.
So, as all of you, or at least all of you here, are within this large whale mouth, there is some sort of seal that has been cast, perhaps, or apparated within the mouth that seems to be holding out much of the typical water that would pass through. And there also seems to be some sort of structure that's actually built up along the large mammal's tongue within that provides seating, bedding, and some other amenities that leave it rather comfortable, all things considered. But you all have a long journey ahead, and so as you reside here, what is it that you all are doing?
Jasira's here with us too, right?
Who?
Jasira.
Yeah, I think so. Are you still here?
Yeah.
This is quite a strange mode of accommodation.
Accurate.
Erinyme kind of pipes up. I would have to agree. I much rather prefer to be swimming alongside the whales, but I like to sit with my guests.
And this is safer for the princess.
Oh, I suppose so.
So did I understand that right? We're just like sitting on whale tongue?
A whale tongue with amenities.
Cool. So like a solid 3-star.
Whale tongue with a mini fridge and a small bar.
There we go.
It does actually have...
Taste buds are the stools.
Not exactly a full bar, but it does have a stock of liquor and food within.
I think Jasira is getting some booze.
I would like to recruit Jasira if she would be amiable to, if we're going to be traveling for a little while. I would like to set to work on rebuilding this this stole canister that I spent in our fight with the Kraken.
Sure, drink and talk.
This will be my third iteration of it, and the last one actually worked surprisingly well.
And the last one I believe you built with silver. Do you still have any silver remaining?
I have a lot of silver.
Perfect.
I can dedicate a half ingot to crafting the canister.
So
Is
it
that
probably
sufficient?
it won't take nearly that much. Probably at most a quarter.
Oh, perfect. I'll dedicate a whole quarter then. Make sure it's perfect.
It's a relatively small device. All right, so we have Thishalt working away at some improvements to his armor. Boko trying to repair or replace rather this expended soul canister. The rest of you trying to get used to these the travel situation that you're in. It's a bit odd if you think about it, but finding that compared to some travel you've had recently, it certainly could be worse. Is there anything that anyone would like to do across the downtime? It will be slightly under 2 weeks of travel to make it across the full distance. And
cool.
You guys can stop along the way if you would like. There's certainly going to be times where they come up and do resting as planned, but it is a long journey regardless of the path from the bottom of the Principalities to the top.
Does the whale have a library?
No, it doesn't.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the item, so can I analyze the dragon pieces that I took off of the Red Ruin? Do I think that they would have any power if I had stitched them into a gauntlet of some kind or something like that?
Sorry, what from the Red Ruin?
The Red Ruin had all those dragon parts that were
From
like,
the figure.
From the figurehead, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then so I stole some dragon leather and some scales and
Thinking
things
if
like
they
that.
would have some sort of power if you put them into gauntlets, you said?
Yes.
Certainly could try. So they're red dragon scales, so they might have some innate elemental pyromancy, or they might have some other aspects of a dragon that you might be able to extract out. If you want to make me a Arcana check to try and determine what the potential is.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Okay. I don't think that would change my mind about making one.
Yeah, so you know that this comes from a red dragon. Red dragons are associated with fire. Dragons are usually have some sort of breath attack. They're usually kind of strong. They usually have some sort of innate power, but the specifics around that are not clear.
Can I assist with the tinkering?
You would probably see me working on it. I think what Boko would set to do is, since he doesn't have a whole lot of dragon equipment, but he would like to make a small gauntlet for Jasira to use in potentially her offhand attacks.
Interesting.
Or something that like she can punch hot things and not take damage from them.
And I have
Oven
2 square
mitts.
feet
We're
of
going
dragon
to
leather
make
and-
Jasira oven mitts.
Oven mitts.
And then so 2 feet of dragon leather and then 10 red dragon scales.
Are you attempting to use all of it for this, or are you?
I will use. I imagine I'll probably have to prototype it once before I figure it out completely, but I'd be willing to put the majority of this towards it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to make a tinker's check, and we'll have Roland throughout seeing this process kind of comes over, talks, and clearly sees that Boko doesn't understand the scope, and if you want to make an Arcana, we can see if that adjusts the path here.
Well,
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Roland, are you rolling the Arcana?
Or are you just gonna stand there creepily
oh,
watching?
I thought Boko had rolled it again. Never mind. But that's a Tinker Tools check.
Okay.
Yeah, the good news is I cannot possibly roll but lower than Boko. Even with a nat 1, it will be higher.
I'm sorry, what?
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, are you talking about my 8 or my 24?
You're 8
You're 8.
on Arcana.
I was like, wait, you get what?
I don't have reliable talent yet.
So Boko, as you begin working on this, kind of building out the frames of this, Roland comes by and kind of looks at your design and kind of questions, comes up with some inquiries on what you're trying to do. And as you describe it, Roland is able to relay that a lot of the fire magic that comes from a dragon isn't really in its scales. That's more of the protectory, and so the scales might be able to provide some sort of armor boost, as well as providing resistance to certain elemental magics, but you need some more of the tangible portion of the dragon, specifically likely within the throat or mouth, or something similar. The skin itself helps, but it's mostly just high quality leather. So you could essentially replicate a leather item of a much higher quality, but it doesn't provide any innate magic just from being on the skin. The scales are where the real kind of arcane power comes from, but it's more protectory in nature.
And I think trying to keep the majority of the leather together so that we can salvage this potentially later if we change our mind, but rather than building just a glove, getting all the material together and building more of like a bracer or a elbow length buckler sort of mount, and keeping it in sort of a larger piece for Jasira.
Yeah. So it will maybe take a few days of time for this. Go ahead and roll me, we'll say a D8 for this to get this fully finalized. 4. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. So yeah, 4 of the roughly 12 days that you guys have here is devoted to this. But you will have some sort of essentially a gauntlet developed at the end of those days. Does anyone else work? Yeah.
After that, if there are any scraps, like maybe smaller scales that weren't quite usable, if I could pull together like 7 of those, potentially.
I only have 10 scales.
Well, so
any like shavings or flakes that came off of a decent size. I imagine the scales are like
this
large.
So, Boko, are you putting the scales and the like strips of dragon leather together? So the dragon leather had scales embedded into it.
You're right.
It essentially, if you use the leather, I'll allow it to be essentially count as non-armor. But if you put it on like a metal frame to make a traditional gauntlet, it would count as armor, and so it wouldn't be as effective for Jasira.
I think we'll just use the leather. Just so it's a little bit more of, because I don't think Jasira uses armor, does she?
No.
Yeah.
No, she don't.
And I totally missed the note that I have here next to it that says scales intact. So yeah, we'll commit the leather to that, and we'll commit all of it if we have to.
Okay. So yeah, then Roland, you would be able to have 1 or 2 scales from the remainder of that based on the check.
And are they large?
They're
or are they
large? I'm trying to think what is appropriate. No, they'd be pretty significant because this came from the figurehead, not from the dragon within.
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I could, like, divide those up into 7 pieces, and then I would work on etching, like, a line from one of the verses of Barmore's bastards onto each scale,
Oh god, here we go.
and then put a hole punch in and put them on a leather thong and give them to everyone.
Do you have some
Beautiful.
tools for this?
I have Tinker's tools, or proficiency with Tinker's tools, and I could borrow Boko's.
Does anyone else have any projects?
Yeah, so whenever Boko's not asking Jasira for help with the soul capture, whatchamadoo, then she'll like to try, I think it's her third iteration of trying to work on her bracelet. Out of the little bit of silver ingot she has. So I don't know if we'll get to finish it this time, maybe?
Yes, you would have plenty of time to finish it.
Beautiful.
And if you want to
And
roll
we
me
can
as
a,
in-
help you.
if you want to roll me a D8 as well.
Sure. Just a D8?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, okay.
4 days as well.
Nice. And then just a clarification. So if we're traveling like 2 weeks, I assume with her 1 constitution, we'll get those health points back
Yes,
to
you
where
guys
they
will
need to
all
be.
get your health back across that time.
Beautiful. That's what I wanted to hear. Then yeah, that's what she's gonna do. She'll be crafty this trip, I think. Crafty and drinky. Sounds like the vibe.
I think during this trip too, in between the crafting, if Jasira wants to spar, Boko will actually spar with you.
Yes. We can try out your new not gauntlet.
The whale suddenly takes a
Gauntlet,
deep
gauntlet.
dive and everyone face plants.
How are you guys going about sparring?
I'm trying not to get my ass
Carefully.
beat.
Dodge, dodge, dodge.
I
What
guess that's fair.
what
You don't
kind
have
of
any
sparring-
padding, do you?
is it? Is it just fist to fist?
I would think something like a shadow box is probably what we would do. With the occasional like smack, kick the head, you know.
Cade keeps cure wounds prepared.
I
Oh,
imagine
don't worry, I'll hand him
Jasira-
healing if I hit him too hard.
I imagine Jasira is holding back. I don't think Boko is, just because of how outmatched he is.
That's reasonable.
But
I'm
no blades are
trying to
coming
make
out.
her
if
into a
that's-
cute little tank, so we're gonna see.
Why
how
don't you
that
guys
works.
both roll me 3 dexterity checks here?
Okay.
Oh, God.
You got it, Boko!
Can I
Can I
use
bless
intelligence?
Boko?
Because all my weapons are based on intelligence instead.
Nope.
Oh,
You're
God.
shadow boxing.
Not good.
Can I
That's
bless
better.
Boko?
Thank you.
It's not a dexterity save. Does that matter?
That's fine.
No,
Well,
it does not matter.
I didn't think it
does
would.
not.
Yeah, so bless isn't going to do anything here.
Surprisingly, Jasira would, if you do it 1 for 1, Jasira would beat
Yeah.
all of them but the second one.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So Jasira kind of just comes out the gate and is not trying too hard. And it's clear that Boko is slightly outmatched here. And she kind of lowers her guard just enough for Boko to come in and get like 1 slap, and then Jasira just turns it on
Oh,
and
and she's done.
just drops him with just a full round of martial
Stops
arts
being
moves.
fist to fist, starts being fist to face.
Yeah.
Boko doesn't even know what happens. He just knows that now he's laying on a wet tongue. The wind's knocked out of him. He can't see anything. He's just like,
What happened?
It's okay, but then she'll hand of healing and he'll be back up so we can do it all over again. And then I had one more question for you, Austin. So based on that half ingot she had, how much would we use to make the bracelet approximately? Just so she knows how, I know how much I have left, if any.
We'll say a quarter.
Quarter? Okay, that's not
Yeah.
bad.
Quarter of the half or a quarter ingot?
A quarter ingot, so
Oh.
half of the half. Sorry.
That's what I took it, so it's a good clarification.
Yep, no, that was a good clarification.
We
"Are you
good, we
using
good.
Silver?
No, it wasn't a good clarification. I was being a little
Yes.
shit, but thank you for rolling with it.
Yeah, I mean, it actually was important.
No, yes. Because it's been now like I don't know, 2-3 weeks in game because it was before Port Verge, I thought, when we got the big ass pillar bowl, whatever. That
Oh,
you
yeah, way
harvested your
before.
silver from.
Yep.
Yeah, and so then she was like, "Hey, Boko, can I have a little?" And you're like, "I'll give you half." And I was like, "Beautiful,
You can have another half if you want.
nice. I'll have 3/4 of an ingot."
Just smash them together.
Well, because
Well,
the
now
more
you're back to
cool things
half.
you give her. Okay.
Use a half of a half, get a half of half back. Now you're back to a half.
There we go. Beautiful.
Wait, I'm so confused what just happened. Am I keeping track of my ingots right?
Basically, you're just giving her fuel to have more souls. So.
Are we talking about half of a half ingot
Yes.
or quarter of a half ingot?
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
Or half of a quarter.
It'd be a quarter of a whole ingot.
We're not rich enough to
Boko
do things in
had a
whole
half.
ingots yet.
Yeah, Boko had a half, Jasira had a half. They each used half of their half and have half of the half left for a quarter
And
apiece
then-
that are put together for half.
Jeez Louise, guys.
And Jimmy went to the store for 47 watermelons.
All right, I think I figured it out at this point. Just give me another 5 minutes to write it out.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's
I don't
so-
even know what question to fucking ask right now. I'm so confused.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Any other projects from anyone?
Corum is going to do his job.
I love the insinuation of whatever the heck these people are doing.
But he will spend the first few days seeming like talking to the princess, trying to get how her feel is on these individuals.
What did you have to
Well,
say
there was
about
a short one that I just loved that we're going to rescue.
Yeah.
Wait, we need to be more
Which one?
specific. Shit.
No, you don't. You just leave it at that.
It's fine.
Yep.
You don't want anyone's feelings to get hurt because they both will end poorly for the other person.
Yeah, but as you have this inquiry, she kind of looks at Corum with a smile. Just, to be honest, I find them lovely. They're quite entertaining. I've only chatted with a few of them briefly, but they seem genuine, and I have to admit I'm quite curious about the Genasi. She has some relation to some pirates that I know.
Yeah, Corum doesn't like that. Princess being rebellious, friends with pirate. Yep, this is why the brother sent us here. But other than that, I'm going to assume Corum will guard her during the day, and Nereus, I think, will guard her at night, just based on our skill set.
Yeah.
Cade sneezes whenever the princess mentions her. Who's talking at me?
How do you get hay fever inside a whale's mouth?
What do you think they feed the whale?
Krill.
Krill
Hey!
fever.
Oh, look, Krill.
If you feed it krill, it gets too much XP and it gets too strong.
Oh god. It starts leveling up.
All right. So I don't have all of them, but I do have. Oh, not those. Those you already have.
Are you done, Adam, or did you have a few more things you wanted to
No,
to
Corum is
discuss?
not crafty. He is here to do his job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlike
Cade's
some
got a few
people.
things. If you're ready, Austin.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So I guess first things first. Cade doesn't have a lot of crafty things to do either. She will occupy her time in a couple different ways. On one of the days, she will cast Speak with Animals and try to have a conversation with the whale.
Okay, this is gonna sound terrifying from inside the whale. Yeah, we're all gonna take freaking thunder damage from it.
Kate is too curious not to, though. So she's gonna cast Speak with Animals and just kind of like chit chat, like, "Hey, how long you been doing this? Are you okay with this? Is this weird?"
Do you do it like Dory from Finding Nemo?
I don't know, Austin. What does Speak with Animals sound like when you talk to a whale?
Inside a whale.
It tries to respond, and Corum taps it with the butt of a spear and goes, "Don't talk with your mouth full."
Thanks. Now it's gonna spit all of us out.
Oh
Is
gosh.
it a mental connection when you're inside its mouth?
So it's a mental connection. It's normal speaking. So the whale kind of speaks, and the connection comes through the magic.
We're on the tongue, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
How good is it with its tongue?
Can Corum try and brace the princess for what he assumes is about to be a bad time?
Sure.
Okay.
So what did you ask, Cade? You were saying if it's doing okay, if it enjoys this?
Yeah, no, just like checking in, like, "Hey, you okay? How long you been doing this? Is this fine? Are you okay with this?"
I suppose this is fine. I like it here well enough. It's a little weird on the tongue.
Cade's getting cabin fever.
As the rest of us are going,
It is just this heavy vibration across the entire throat as this resonance just cascades through the mouth.
This is. You can't convince Boko otherwise. This is why he lost the duels.
It was like an hour later, and that was why. I knew it was coming. I could feel it.
Okay. So yeah, that was just kind of the fun thing of like Cade wanted to try speaking with the whale, make sure it was chill.
It is the chillest.
Cool. Okay. Cade will alternate, and once a day, she will attempt to scry on Sindri and crew, and then we'll alternate between that and checking on the Storm Fae. So she'll just kind of do that. She'll alternate between that for the extent of the trip to make sure that things are okay, no one's captured, everyone's in one piece.
Okay. And you said you're alternating between the two of them each day?
Yes, and she did like warn Sindri, like, "Hey, I'm gonna be keeping an eye out. Don't fight it."
And Clyde will be talking once a day with Cade.
Okay.
Through sending.
Oh, because Clyde has sending now.
Yeah, and one of those I'm going to tell you later, DM, because I want Clyde to do things with it.
Oh no.
Clyde might have friends. I don't know.
I do. He doesn't.
Oh. Okay, drinking buddies. Sorry, be more
Fair.
specific.
Too many to count.
Okay. So we'll kind of
summary would be fine.
Yeah. So
just real brief. Because it would only be 25 words or just a viewing.
Yeah, so
scrying is 10 minutes, but I could see a 10-minute snip of your day and make sure you're not sitting like a jail cell.
The sending back from Clyde. Yeah. So the first day, we'll say you do Clyde and Sindri, and they are currently within a small darkened room, eating some food. It looks like they have been stored somewhere, and Clyde kind of lets you know that they're hiding within the city but are safe for now. The next day you look at the Storm Fae, and they are currently still on the sea, but things seem to be relatively stable there. Looking back on Oh man, I gotta count this on my finger so I don't mess this up. Looking back on Clyde and Sindri on the third day, they are now walking through the woods. The second day you had got a sending from Clyde saying that they were heading out of the city, headed north. And Clyde seemed a little bit worried, but it seems like they made it into the woods. And Clyde tells you, we'll say that one of those is the one that Clyde is sending to other people. Looking at the Storm Fae, they're still sailing. The fifth day, Clyde and Sindri are still walking through the woods. They seem to be kind of escorted by Corwin and another figure. They're kind of weaving their way through some trees, and you see that it's actually snowing through these woods. 6 days. Yeah, we'd still be, you'd see the Stormface still sailing through the next couple. Eventually you see as Clyde and Sindri actually make it to this valley. Within this intense like snowstorm, there's actually this valley, and it seems to be clear with green trees. And Clyde is at this point, every few updates that he gives, most of them are just complaining about the cold and how obnoxious it is, and when is he going to get some good something good to drink.
When are they going to show up with my goddamn
yeah, still, yep, yeah, which they did not bring, but Cade doesn't tell him that. And eventually they get to this valley where the plant growth is actually green and the snow doesn't seem to hit, and there seems to be some sort of village, and shortly after that, about I guess 3 days afterwards, you would have seen the Storm Fae themselves actually arriving to this village. Strangely, as you cast sending on them the next time, you can see that they're within this village, but they've actually brought the Azure Fox up out of the water and have kind of beached it up on the sand shore there. But most things seem intact. Again, Clyde kind of gives you the update that there's some sort of dragon people here within this valley, but doesn't seem to give too many details outside of their magnificent hair. And that's roughly the overview of the couple of weeks that goes by.
Okay. One of those days, I will attempt to scry on
or maybe not dead girl.
Yes, shit, I forgot her name.
We love and respect her so much.
Yes. Tove. I will attempt to confirm if Tove is indeed alive or dead.
What day are you going to do that?
What, does it matter?
It does matter, actually.
Wait. Is she dead or alive on which day? It switches every other day.
Let's see. Let's say it would be... let's see. Cade would check... The first day of traveling would be checking on Sindri and Clyde. The second day would be checking on the Storm Fae. And let's see, probably one more Sindri Clyde, and then she would try Tove, seeing that things have kind of calmed down. So day 4?
Okay. Let's see. So with that,
because she knows that Jazeera is being all nonchalant about it, but we don't know.
Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check, Cade, for this.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Just, can you scry on a dead body?
We'll find out.
Hold on, I'm pulling up just the spell again, because it's been a while since I've...
It's been a while.
It will fail if the target is dead or on a different plane of existence.
Yeah. Okay.
Do it, DM.
Okay, perception check though, right?
Yeah.
Do a DM.
Don't kill people.
Okay. So as you go to do sending on Tove, you see Tove's body, and it, for all intents and purposes, looks dead. And it is actually lying in some sort of wooden, like, wagon, perhaps. You see it kind of moving and bumping along, and you see other things in this, but they don't appear to be bodies or wrapped corpses. They appear to be like crates and barrels and other supplies.
What I actually do view, I do see Tove.
You do see Tove, but she looks dead.
Okay. If I indeed do see Tove, I will go talk to Roland.
Oh boy.
Roland, do you have a minute?
Yes. He'll look up from like the with the monocle on that he's like tapping into the the red scale.
I attempted to scry on Tove. It was successful.
So she's alive?
That's what I wanted to confirm. A person has to be alive for that spell to work, correct?
To my knowledge, yes. It's a bit advanced. I never quite got that far in the clerical studies, but to my knowledge, yes. If they're dead, or if they're somewhere else that magic can't get through to, a different plane, the Feywild.
She didn't look particularly alive when I saw her, but the spell worked, which would imply that she is alive. So I'm kind of at a loss. I mean, I suppose she could just be unconscious, but the spell worked.
In a cart, you said?
Yes, just along with random other things. Her unconscious, I'm assuming, form was jostling around.
Well, I don't suppose that the people who were attacking Port Verge would care much to cart away the dead body of a random pirate that they find.
No.
That means that someone got her out of there.
Do you think I should mention it to Jazeera? I mean,
it's a people skills thing. You're asking the wrong person.
But okay, let me say this. Scrying works on only things that are alive, which means that Tove has to be alive because she was the intended target of my spell.
Yes, that is logical.
Okay, then I think perhaps we tell her. I don't know if we can do anything about it, or if we can save her at any point, or if we can... I don't know, but perhaps tell her that there's not a need to mourn quite yet. Yes, okay, thank you. And Cade's gonna go grab Jazeera.
Okay.
Jazeera, do you have a minute?
Yeah. What's up?
I tried to check in on Tove, since things were left a little ambiguous. I tried to scry on her, and it worked. I talked with Roland, and we both are fairly confident that that kind of magic only works if the intended person is alive. I saw her in the back of a cart. She looked dead, but we both think that she can't be dead if the scrying worked, so I think she was just unconscious. But she's in a cart being moved somewhere, but she's alive, I think.
Well, that's good. Maybe. I don't suppose there's anything we can do about it. I mean, we don't even know where that is, do we?
No, checking in on a lot of people right now, but I can continue to try and monitor her every few days, see if I see something that I recognize.
Sarah just kind of takes a deep breath, thinks it over before nodding. Yeah, if you don't mind. Keeping tabs might be good.
Okay. I wanted you to know, I don't imagine you've really had a calm, good day since you came to this plane, I suppose? Plane of existence? You lived on a different plane, right?
Yes, very different.
Okay, yes, I don't suppose you've had a normal day, and I know you weren't very close to Tove, but she had become your companion of sorts, and, you know, coming from the same place and all.
It's just how we work. Even family isn't always as close as you'd think. But she was a good ally.
Okay, then I'll keep an eye on her. So I guess pending that conversation, it'll be a 3-day rotation of Sindri, Clyde, Stormfae, Tove.
And it's visual only, right?
I think you can listen when you scry. Let's see, you can see and hear a particular creature you choose that is on the same plane of existence as you.
It's clairvoyance that you have to pick, auditory or visual.
Gotcha. So then in that case, I'll say that for the first two times that you scry on Tove, you see her very much in the same situation. However, on the last one, which is the day before the end of this travel, you actually see her being moved. And go ahead and give me one more perception check for this.
Okay. Scroll to the right area. Better.
Much.
Okay. So as you scry on Tove this time, you see the body currently being lifted by 2 men and placed very gently down onto what appears to be something far more pristine. It's like a cushioned it's almost coffin shaped, but it's larger and seems to be built into some sort of wagon type transportation device. But this one seems to be made for carrying bodies and carrying bodies safely, or body-sized objects. But her body seems to fit in fairly perfectly to this. And the two individuals kind of step back. You see another, or you kind of hear voices back and forth. And you can hear the exchanging of some coin, and words. You kind of catch a couple of names that kind of pop out. Well, you have to tell the boss that Tiny and Coco did their job. We'll have her back in no time. Thank you. And kind of begin that passing of coin between the individuals as they start to hand or transition this body.
I heard Tiny, and what was the other name?
Coco.
Oh, okay.
And if you want, you can roll me a history check on that.
Sure. History is of the things I do. History is not my forte.
And Clyde?
What?
Or is it the cat pirates?
The names don't ring a bell for you.
Okay. Okay. So Coco and Tiny did their job. We'll have her back in no time.
No, the cat pirates are Mr. Patches and Peggy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do the guys look like?
So you don't see much of the individuals who are talking. The individuals who are moving the body, you catch two of them. They're fairly heavily armored with kind of some red and black cloth underneath. But the helmets that they wear, there's not a whole lot of descriptive features that you can see. They do look to be human. Go ahead and roll me an intelligence check.
Okay.
Do
Making notes here.
Yeah.
Back here. Oh, that's dexterity. Oh,
Okay.
no.
Okay. So yeah,
I'm gonna get the bad rolls out now. It's fine.
that's about what you get there.
Okay. Cool. Okay, I will pull Jazeera and Roland into a little meeting and see if any of this information means anything to them. Hi, real quick, I saw something new in the sky this time. Two men transporting Tove still look very unconscious. They were heavily armored, red and black cloth underneath the armor, human-esque in shape. They mentioned that Coco and Tiny did their job and that we will have her back in no time. But they were transporting her on something that looked like it was meant to transport humans, unconscious or does this ring up any bells for you two?
Coco and Tiny.
Coco and Tiny.
What kind of rolls do we gotta make there, Austin? Would that be a history?
Yeah, you guys can try history checks.
Oh boy. It's not my best, but that's okay.
Yeah, I have no idea if this is going to ring any bells to you guys, but...
That's pretty good! That's pretty good! Okay, let's go.
Maybe it'll mean something to you two.
I got bad feels, but let's see.
So, what is perhaps more surprising is that Roland, you have no knowledge of these names, and you just like roll through the Rolodex and you're like, I am 100% positive I've never heard of any sort of names like that. Those sound ridiculous.
Coco and Tiny.
Which might tell you something, but Jazeera, you also don't recognize the names. However, red and black are often colors of Karnath and are similar colors to many of the guards from the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Shit. This must be partially their doing.
I have to ask. You said you were working on like a farm out in the fields, yes?
Yes, something like that.
Why would whoever these people were that were running this farm, why would they care enough to bring back manual labor? Like, if you lose one person, you just fill them with someone else. You don't pay to have them brought all the way back from the ocean.
Would Jasir have any insight as to that?
You can make me an insight check.
I would love to, because I get advantage on that. Gotta love star elves, palette elves. Great.
Yeah.
Consistency is
Could have been worse. Could have been the same number twice of a different number.
Could have been worse.
It's difficult to tell. You know that all of the individuals that were working there were female and were palette elves. So what makes that special? You're not exactly sure, but there's got to be something, right?
I'm not really sure what Galreth is so obsessed with, but I mean, it was always one of us from a bar, one way or another. I mean, perhaps it's just a little too difficult to get another one of us. I mean, planar travel is quite complex, isn't it?
Wait, you're telling me that you were farming, yes?
A plantation of sorts. A big estate, lots of manual labor.
Okay. Your plantation had servants of just female elves from another plane.
Yes.
What the hell were you harvesting?
Give me a nature check if you want, Bree.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think she would really know, per se. Let's make sure I'm at regular again. Nature. Really?
Oh.
Damn.
What?
The dice want to tell the story. Let's go.
Oh man, you're gonna make me go look stuff up, Bree. I wasn't expecting that one.
Give me some backstory. Let's go.
It might not even be harvesting something specific. It could just be a rich man with particular taste.
That's very particular taste. Literally, they're from another plane.
And what better way to show off that you're rich?
I
We
mean,
certainly had no shortage of that.
they're showing that you're rich, and then I don't know. Does that not seem a little hinky?
Yeah, and then there's vacating your
isn't-
bowels into a pot made of gold.
Isn't slave labor kind of, what was that? Hinky?
Well, there are plenty of people that engage in slavery, but most people don't go so far as another plane to find the labor. I hate to ask this, but were you kidnapped or lured to this plane? How were you brought here, if you don't mind me asking?
I wanted to leave. I found the assistance of someone you don't really hear much about. It's very mum's the word. because we don't get to leave our plane. It's quite unheard of. But the Gilded Man helped me, and while he got me out of my bar, I was then given to Galreth.
Was the deal a certain number of years that you were working on the plantation, or was it for life just to get out of your plane? Was there a contract?
I don't have much memory. I don't believe I agreed to anything in particular. Just whatever it was to get me out. And then he kind of filled in the rest.
I mean, I suppose if you're capable of plane travel cheaply and easily, you bargain to bring people over, they escape, and you get labor. I don't know, it just seems very excessive when slaves are, it sounds terrible, relatively cheap.
So while you guys are talking about this, a bit of a backtrack. So for Jasira, you know that what you were actually farming was not so much a farm good, but actually a flower. It grew in kind of dark green leaves, and when it flowered, it was this bright purple flower with a yellow center, and you had to actually wait for the center to yellow before you were allowed to pick it off. And though you weren't familiar with it yourself, inquiring along with some of the other women there were whispers that it was some sort of drug that would cause a disorienting euphoria, and they called it Dream Lily.
So heroin. You were farming heroin.
Sounds like what they were using on people in the prison.
Oh.
What was it? Dream lilies, I think is what we called those. And
Roland and I have heard of dream lilies.
Go ahead and make me a nature or arcana check for you guys.
And she'll provide all information around those that you might need. Hopefully that helps.
That was a 2.
Could have
13.
been worse.
Could have been worse.
It could have. It had a 5% chance of being worse.
I'll do a nature check and do a guidance on myself. Let's see. Might not matter, but... and then roll a 1d4. 19!
So, Cade, you've actually heard of Dream Lily. It's actually typically seen as an export from other continents entirely. You weren't aware that it's able to be produced at all within Port Verge. But it's an expensive drug that is essentially produced. You weren't aware exactly what the flower was. You knew the drug called Dream Lily because it's used within the city of Regalport in Greentarn. It's one of the many narcotics that survives there that people use in many different ways.
Huh. Very interesting. I wasn't aware that Port Verge was capable of producing dream lilies. They're not typically from the continent. So, okay, piecing together. Are you, out of curiosity, did the dream lily affect you at all? Like, did you feel any effects of the flower?
You were never affected while picking it. You guys did wear gloves for it, and you never ate or imbibed it. But you were there relatively for a short time. It was only a couple of weeks before all this kind of happened.
I didn't have too much exposure to it. We had a protocol. We had these gloves when we were picking, so I guess as to not become afflicted.
Okay, so all in all, we have a drug plantation with a drug that is not typically found on the continent, with labor from another plane. Which I suppose makes sense if you want to keep it very fucking quiet, is you take people that are not even from Colbert, have no idea that this drug does not normally exist, you take them and have them work and you keep them locked up. Okay, things are starting to fall in place a bit.
Also very easy to find anyone who escapes.
Right,
You're
because
only looking for one specific type of person.
And that's what they were told, I guess.
Right, females from a different plane who have an aversion to daylight.
And from a plane that typically people are not allowed to leave.
Right, so no one's looking for them.
And when they are out picking flowers, just like Jasira in the daytime, they all wear masks.
Yeah. Wow, you were involved with some shady shit.
Hey, come on, man.
I guess I'm not entirely surprised based on our little ragtag group. We're all kind of weird.
Well,
No. Cade and I are pirates. The rest of you are weird.
Fair enough. I'm with him.
You choose to stay around, so.
Can't believe they think I'm
I
weird.
never said
How could
weird
they
is
think
bad.
this? Can't believe it.
So, I guess, realistically, that means, as bad as that sounds, Tove is safe because she's a desired commodity and we know her end destination.
Yeah, she'll be back there.
Well, she's not dead.
And after we get done breaking up a pirate hunting fleet the likes of which the seas have never seen, then we can go on a drug bust.
I'm sure we can make a lot of money on it.
Hmm.
You were all taken from the same city, right? Or outside the city? Right?
We were just outside the city.
I was in the city. I was in a library.
Right. Remind me, where were you guys taken again?
Plankton.
Plankton. Okay.
Right. It's been a year.
Yeah.
That sure sounds familiar.
That's
Was
right.
it a library you were in? I'm pretty sure you were working on a gun.
Now hold on, he was
In
finding
a library.
Yeah, he was trying to find knowledge.
That's suspicious.
Library might be a bit of a simplistic definition, but it's not wrong.
There were books there,
There was a library in the tower. There were also workshops.
but no rope.
To put it into perspective, I was also in this library.
Well, I'm sure
Very
it was.
briefly until you were escorted out.
Fair point.
I'm sure it's a great.
The only place that you got kicked out of faster than that library was heaven.
Oh my god.
Fucking accurate. Oh man.
Okay. But yeah, as you guys have talked and determined some things through this journey, is there any other discussions or projects or downtime that anyone has planned for these days before we reach the next island?
Would Roland let me tinker with his gun?
I just got that working again.
Hey, don't touch his gun. My fix works.
He's gonna make your gun shoot knives, so you always hit.
Constant.
I already did that. I put a bayonet on the end. Now I stab, then shoot.
I'm telling you, it works now. Which reminds me, I guess I'd ask around, does anybody need any other, adjustments done to their gear? As it's clear that mine works now that he's actually hit something with it.
Cade does not trust you at all.
Oh, whatever. Charm.
What does Boko want to do? Although, actually, with the gun, I think a weapon can only have one infusion on it.
It can.
This is true. I wasn't going to infuse it, though.
He was
What
just
were you
gonna
going to
fuck
do?
with it.
I'm
I don't
going
like
to
that phase.
fiddle.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Gonna give it legs? What are you gonna do?
So the returning weapon chuck the rifle, then
I mean,
All right, I will revisit this when we get back to the Dreadhold, or to the Morrigan.
oh dear.
we're not going to the Dreadhold again.
You don't know that.
Fair.
I mean, at this rate, with the shit we're involved in, there's a chance. Stop smiling like that, DM.
Well, I'm pretty sure you have to cross right past the Dreadhold to get to where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's something in the DM's notes that says, "Where is this person?" Dreadhold question mark.
There's a lot of notes like that.
Yeah.
All
Cade
caps,
would,
exclamation.
at some point during the 2 weeks, like, have a conversation with, like, the princess and stuff, and kind of shoot the breeze with her, while she's probably getting stared daggers at by the guard.
Is there anything you're trying to get out of the conversation, or just trying to get to know her better?
Nah, just trying to, just chit-chatting, seeing if she has any questions or anything, of, like, hey, we're traveling together, and we're taking your whale, so might as well be polite about it.
Yeah, she's very polite, very curious. She asks about all of your adventures, asks about the different people on your ship. She talks about a time where she actually was sailing, or not sailing, but was traveling, and got caught up with some sorts of marrow, that's what I think they're called, marrow raiders, that had tried to attack her, and it was a ship that had Azalea Stormfey on it, but she was not the captain, and it was not the Azure Fox, but she was essentially rescued from the marrow by her and some of her friends.
How long ago was this?
Oh, goodness, now. It must have been about a decade? No. 2, 3... Goodness, time flies. I suppose it would have been almost 3 decades ago, maybe 2.5?
Real quick, how young does this princess look?
She looks maybe on your age, somewhere in the, like, late teens, early 20s.
Okay. Oh, wow. I didn't know you had known the captain for that long. If I might say, you look very young.
For us, we find that the waters have a natural healing affinity. We don't age the same way that many other races do. We are much closer to perhaps elves in our aging process. But we find that our reproduction rate is not as high as races like humans.
Ah, yes, that makes sense.
But I do appreciate it.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't exactly know how long I'll live or how fast I'll age. Bit of a mystery. The water-touched aspect kind of puts a lot of things up in the air.
If I may ask, how old are you, and how do you know the Captain Stormfay?
Oh, not as old as you. I'm only in my 20s.
Well, there's still much that you can see in a few decades.
As for how I know her, Cade kind of like pauses and like assesses, kind of like trying to stare into like the depths of her soul and like kind of like weigh her. I've known her my entire life. I was raised on her ship. I've known no other home.
To be honest, I'm a bit jealous. It sounds like you have gone far and seen much, and to be around a woman of that caliber, it must be... Well, I'm sure you get involved in a lot far more interesting than the affairs of court.
Cade kind of gets a little bit of a faraway look. Interesting, perhaps. The captain can be distant. She is a remarkable woman, that is for sure. But lets very few into her life.
I can understand the sort. My father is much the same.
Yes, it's always like you're looking for a crack in someone's armor, attempting to have a conversation, a meaningful conversation with a person like that. You're always having to look for an opening in order to, I don't know, sneak in, find something, see something that you don't normally see in that facade.
I understand completely. Saren once explained it to me as whenever someone is responsible for the lives of others and constantly has to look over their shoulder for those who are looking to hurt those that they care about, especially when it is not just a family of a wife or some children, but dozens or hundreds of individuals that they're responsible for. A much larger group, it's taxing. Especially when you're in dangerous situations like governing a small nation of people that no one really wants around, or, you know, manning a pirate ship across the seas.
Actually, I have a question for you.
Of course.
Your brother had mentioned that it was, I don't know, encouraging, interesting to see someone touched by the ocean or see the ocean personified. What do you know about water Gnazi and how they're made, created, spawned? I'm not really sure what the right word is there.
Well, to be honest, not much off the top of my head. We have some records back within our home. I know that supposedly you all are born of some innate connection with the elements. What that means exactly, I couldn't be sure, but as far as I know, no one has seen a water genasi, certainly not in these parts, for millennia. That's what makes you so interesting to myself and to my brother, is that you all are supposed to be kind of the champions, or those most connected with the natural thing that we call our home, that we live in every day. And to see one of you in person, to watch you move and swim and navigate, it's difficult to describe, but it's like seeing something that you've dreamt about since you were a kid.
Well, I don't know if that honestly makes me feel better or worse. I don't know. I was born on a terrible, terrible stormy night. Well, so I'm told. I obviously don't remember. My friend said that he had never seen a storm quite like it before. Never seen one before, and he's lived quite a long time, and never seen one since. And he said it was horrendous. The boat nearly capsized. And then, obviously, you know, I was born a little bit different than what was expected, given who my parents were. Been kind of trying to find answers ever since. And given what you just told me, I think they're going to be a little harder to find than I thought they would be.
So you weren't born from another elemental?
No.
Fascinating.
My father was, or at least what I've been told, never met the man, is a sun elf from the continent.
That certainly is not what I expected, but I mean, who truly knows these things?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll find an answer one day. Perhaps I'll have time. I don't know. Both my parents very long-lived, so that's in my favor. Not entirely sure, but I suppose that'll just be a mystery and gives me every reason to live every day to the fullest.
Well, if nothing else, if you make it through this adventure and find one of your parents, I've found that when you go on adventures and get into more danger and adventure than your parent would like, they're occasionally more forthcoming with information.
And then occasionally you get friends to go on your journeys with you.
Yes, Corum. Never alone anymore, unfortunately. It's had a dreadful
Cade's
effect
gonna
on
lean.
Oh.
She just looks over.
She's familiar with the concept.
She looks over at Cade.
The process, yes.
She looks over at Cade. Just, it has had a dreadful effect on my other adventurous activities.
Cade's gonna lean in and very quietly whisper, "If you need some tips on sneaking away, I know a few."
Her eyes just light up and she smiles.
Cade kind of like
wet in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm. Cade kind of like eyes the guard that's probably like eyeing her, just like, "I'll find you later."
Oh, beautiful. All right. And as you all are making your journey, so with Cade's scry and with some of the information that had come through from Clyde, you know that they have actually set out from Port Verge actually to the northern kind of inlet on Questor. Are you all still going to Port Verge, or do you want to meet them where they are in that valley?
I mean, we do have some shopping we could do.
Well, Port Verge is not friendly.
Not friendly to pirates.
I mean, we're up here in the north. We could bum a ride to Karnath really quick.
hop a train straight to the center of the continent. We'll be there in 2 weeks.
You going like the Carnath?
I hear Thrain is lovely this time of year.
I mean, I guess Cade will propose as a group. We can continue on to Port Verge, but that is not where Sindri and Clyde or anyone else is at this moment. And they are extremely unfriendly towards pirates.
Well, it's a good thing I'm a merchant. Yeah. Nothing will go bad.
I can appear as not a pirate if I wish.
Did we have any other reason to break into Port Verge?
So Port Verge is where
the dragon ships.
Yeah,
is where they're making them, and is the source of some of the environmental damage. But you guys were going there specifically for Clyde and for Sindri. Yeah, but they've actually made it north, and they've actually met up with the Storm Fae, who are in that same valley there to talk with a group called the Tamargons.
I mean, hear me out. This would be the perfect time to sabotage some production of the dragon ships.
Yeah, if we pick up enough crates and then jump, can we skip to the end game?
We've got 2 ships full of capable people. I mean, a ship and a whale full of capable people. Just saying, this could score us some real brownie points with the other Tritons.
I personally would rather meet up with everyone on friendlier terms. But if we want to conduct business in Port Verge, I suppose we could do that first. I don't know. I mean, I am very happy that Sindri and Clyde have met up with the Storm Fae. That should keep them relatively out of trouble. But I think we should meet up with the group before attempting any tactical assault on Port Verge.
Agreed. But there's no harm in just doing a little recon.
Well, there's potentially a lot of harm if it goes poorly, but I see your point.
So we just make sure it doesn't go poorly.
Mm-hmm.
I think we head for Clyde, Sindri, and Corwin first.
So we got 2 splits. Which way we're going?
I agree to go meet up with where they currently are.
Then we can drop back south and go to Port Verge if necessary.
With a couple extra bodies. Mm-hmm.
And another boat.
All right. So you guys are headed around the island. So I'll add about an extra day. So it'll be about 13 days in total that you all have traveled to get to the bay there. So last call in case anyone wants to do anything else in the downtime. Otherwise, we'll get to the village here.
So was the vote to take the detour or go directly to us?
Directly
We're
to
going
Clyde
directly
and
to
Sindri.
you.
Ah, that's lame.
Ah, good.
Yeah,
Always do adventure.
I voted to leave you in the
We're gonna
lurch,
come
don't
back.
worry.
We have to come back. So it's
we?
based on how this trap. We're not going north
The
is dumb
rest
based
of
on
the
this map.
campaign, the rest of the campaign might be on quest tour in the north.
Yeah.
Too damn
could've
cold.
been too late then.
Hey, remember what happened the last time we ended up on an island, and that island is like a 20th the size of this.
As long
Do
as we
you
don't
have
find
any idea?
bridges.
I was gonna say, do you have any idea how many bridges are probably on quest tour?
Alright.
Oh my goodness.
But do we have rope this time?
It's in the sheet. Are you gonna click on it? Is that what you're looking for now, David?
David is furiously scrolling through.
Where is it? Where is it? It's gone.
Do what?
He didn't realize that I deleted it from the character sheet. He can't have it.
I didn't hear you.
It's canon now. Anytime we're in a city, somebody bumps into Roland and specifically pickpockets him for just his rope.
His rope? What?
I'm gonna start wearing it as a girdle underneath my clothes.
Oh, that's great. Okay. So if no one has anything else, then you all do eventually navigating a bit of the heavy ice that is. Oh shoot! Actually, I don't know. Let's see what time of year it is. I think it's winter, and that might be a problem.
Oh no!
Oh god!
We're gonna have to drag the ship over the.
No, dude.
Whale.
Yo, true. Wait a second. What?
The whale can go under, but can it get out?
Breach it.
It's just got to get to the bay.
Oh no, we're good. We're good.
I believe in Waylord's possibilities. We got it.
Lord.
Oh gosh. Where's my actual thing? What the heck here? Guys, I have too many folders. Oh, that's why. I was already in the folder that I was looking for.
Oh, nice.
Classic problem.
Woo! Let's see if opening this file is going to crash my stream.
Probably.
2 days later. Oh gosh. Go away. I'm going to close the door real fast. I'll be right.
What scares me about this effigy is there is an explicit lack of information on how to bind it with somebody.
Which
makes me think it's already bound.
That's really bad.
19 of 25 hit points, yeah.
I feel like this effigy is already bound to somebody.
Oh, most definitely.
So what we do is we just carry it around through cities and tickle it until someone goes.
Yeah, it's just about summer. So it is late spring. So the ice is breaking up. So there's no issue for travel past even this point. There is some ice here still for certain, but it's not impassable. And so you all make it breaching out, not quite in the village, but kind of nearby. And again, it is heavy snow and mountainous terrain. And all you can see nearby is just these thick snowbanks going up towards mountains. But you know that supposedly just around the corner, there's this beautiful green valley.
Okay. I mean, how close can a whale lord get us, or whale lord?
He's whale lord.
Yeah,
now.
the whale has kind of opened up and let you guys out. What is supposedly only a couple hour journey for you all.
How cold we talking out here?
Colder than a freezer?
Ah, crap. Okay, well, I'm gonna work on insulating the dang pipework on my hydro stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely freezing up and causing issues for sure.
Roland has dug through his pack and pulled out a set of furs that he's now wrapped around his shoulders to fend off the cold.
Cade threw on a shirt, which is atypical of her.
She has sleeves?
Otherwise her skin starts cracking.
Cade doesn't wear sleeves.
Sleeves are bullshit.
They're bullshit.
Cade has sleeves on.
I am going to reach into my pouch and I am going to pull out Quinn, Lydia, and Roland's shirts and put all of them on.
Woo, thank goodness I have all these.
Oh gosh.
Take a
See,
minus
it's all
5
about
to your
layers.
movement speed because
It's all about layers. Oh goodness.
I knew these would come in handy.
After all this time. But yeah. Despite the harsh cold, some of you are real struggling. If I could get everybody to go ahead and roll me a con save. If you insulated in some way, you can have it at advantage.
All right.
the Tritons are resistant to cold damage.
They are. The Tritons do not have to make it.
Okay.
Damn. Okay.
So-
Okay.
I was gonna ask, could Jasira use her bedroll as like a jacket? Would that help?
Just wear a sleeping bag.
Yeah. Is that just stomping around?
But you have to hop around.
Yes.
You're penguining.
Like,
Yeah.
Damn.
is that approved?
You can certainly try. Go ahead and give me a survival check, Jasira.
Just gonna cut 2 holes in
Yeah.
the sleeping bag.
No, Cade actually puts sleeves on and pulls out a pair of
Damn.
boots, which is also atypical.
Huh.
So how about 18?
Yeah. You can certainly make it an advantage.
Nice. Okay, because we're gonna need it. 14. Yeah, I needed that. I
Imagine
like
having
that.
a bad con save.
Okay, Mr. Status.
Didn't help me with drinking apparently, but it helps me with this.
You were meant to get wasted. It was.
I
meant
guess
to be.
I was.
It's your destiny.
All right. And so upon walking through, it's maybe about 2 hours of this just thick cold, and it's pretty rough. And all of you are getting chilly and starting to worry about how far away this is, when suddenly you just round the corner and it's just green grass. Just the wind almost instantly changes to something that starts to get warmer and warmer and warmer, and you kind of step off from this melted snow into this soft green grass, and immediately start needing to pull layers off once again as you get closer and closer as this village starts to come into view. And you can see the large ship kind of pulled up onto the sand of the Azure Fox where it's been beached.
That's rather interesting. I didn't think that climate worked like that.
This far north, it doesn't.
Then how do you explain this as I just point to the grass?
Probably the inhabitants.
Magic.
For what it's worth, I wouldn't have believed you 5 years ago, but after seeing all this, magic is a perfectly fine explanation.
Magic is just science you don't understand.
And in some ways,
Or
it
it's just
seems so.
magic.
Or it's literally just magic. Who knows?
But as you get closer and closer, you can see these individuals who are moving about. They look to be farming, gathering, making clothes, weaving. This small village of maybe a few hundred people, though each individual you can see has some sort of what almost looks like a disease, where their skin has changed. They look to be humanoid, but in patches just have this rough, scaly skin. Some of them have grown tails. Some of them even have a single horn outside of one side, or 2 horns protruding out. Some are longer, some are shorter. Some of them have the scales across their face. Some of them, their eyes have started to change and shift. But each and every one of these individuals all has thick hair that goes down well past their shoulders, and many of it is these vibrant colors, blues and whites and reds, all just these thick heads of hair that course down their back. Men, women, even the children have these thick matty wads of hair on, and some of them have them braided into beautiful different plaits. Some of them have them kind of put up, some of them have them styled in different ways, but all of them are these full thick head long-haired individuals. And you're kind of given some casual glances as you pass through, but no one really stops or pays you too much attention, just going about their business here in this small village.
These people are fascinating.
They don't seem to be concerned about their transformation at all.
They don't look like it, but it certainly looks aberrant. And Boko, to you, it looks very much like a disease, like a rash or a pox or a transformation that is taking place where it's taking over part of their bodies.
If you catch it, do you get the hair to match?
If so, Clyde has spent this entire time trying to catch it.
Just licking people.
Interesting as that is, if my
it's an STD and nobody will take them up on it.
if my hair got too long and get caught up in the mechanisms, I really don't want that. Cutting it short is the way to do it, honestly.
I'm gonna keep an eye out. If I get the chance to, like, take a closer look, I would love to see what the hell is going on here.
It's just mold.
Would you like, for now, are you just taking kind of a general observance of the population, or are you trying to go up and ask someone to, like, inspect them, or are you just waiting for an opportunity?
I'm gonna scrape them for samples.
I won't go up to approach anybody. I will look if anybody comes within context, but what I'm really banking on is when we find Clyde, he's already established himself with somebody that's used to the discomfort that is just going to let me check them out anyways.
Just you grab an arm and start poking and prodding and be like, I suppose all of the snowwalkers are like this.
At least this one's not licking me.
Come on. Yeah.
Shit.
But yeah, for now, you don't see any sight of the crew of the Stormfae or of Clyde, Sindri, or Corwin. There is one kind of central building. It doesn't seem to be very extravagant, but does seem to be slightly larger, like some sort of meeting hall or mead hall.
Seems like a good place to head.
Okay, the meat hall is very different from the meeting hall. I just want that
meeting or mead.
Oh, okay.
Like a Viking mead hall?
With a D.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Clyde is a frequent patron of the meat hall.
That's okay.
Really trying to get that disease.
Sausages! Big, juicy sausages!
I'm desperate, okay? I just want some hair. But yeah, as you guys head towards this central building, you kind of open up the doors, and within Cade, you do recognize a couple members of the Stormfae, including Damocles and some others. You don't see the captain or Tiago. Still no sign of Clyde or Sindri, and Damocles is kind of talking with some individuals up at the front of this table, and you can see within here, you thought that the hair outside was crazy, and here it's it's almost down to the knees, well past the waistline on many of these men who are big, strong, bulky individuals, but again, all with some sort of malady. And you can see in here, one of them actually has like these claw-like arms that have come out. One of them has these small malformed wings on its back. You can see this transformation taking over in different ways, and the tallest individual with this thick red mane of hair that flows down onto the floor is kind of sitting in a seat as he kind of watches and listens to the conversation that transpires.
Cade will head towards Damocles.
Yeah, as soon as you start heading in that direction, a few of the pirates kind of greet you and smile, and Damocles kind of comes up, and all of you, for the first time, really getting sight of this individual from the crew, who seems to be an officer, but he has these kind of blackened eyes, and just tattooed all across his body, seems to have this kind of palish skin, and wears just very lightweight, fitted sailing armor, kind of steps forward, towards Cade. It is good to see you. How have you fared? Wait, we are not expecting you up this way.
Yes. A bit of a detour. Have you seen no right to be this cheerful stone gnozi and a halfling that is probably constantly seeking booze?
The two half-heighted half-wits went with the captain. They're taking a look further into the forest. They should be back this evening.
Yes. We were attacked by the Red Ruin. We managed to kill most of them and destroyed the ship, but not before the two half-wits, as you put it, jumped through an unknown portal, which seemed to have taken them to Port Verge.
They had filled us in with some of this information, though we did not know that you all would be coming up here. We expected to take them with us. I am glad to see that they will be going with you.
Already getting on your nerves?
No more than you did when you were young.
Cade has a mildly, grumpy look on her face.
And the man who seems very solemn does kind of crack a small smile and then kind of rustles Cade's hair before stepping by to greet the others. Welcome, all. This is the land of the Tamargons. I cannot pronounce what it is actually called, but you all are safe here. This is the leaders, for lack of a better term. But this place is a mostly pacifistic society. It is safe, but please do not draw any weapons. Despite being pacifistic, they are more than capable of making an issue for you.
They're not violent, but roughhousing is violence.
The good book is quite clear when it comes to killing, but somewhat fuzzy on the subject of kneecaps.
I like this one.
Look, I'm not gonna mess them. They don't assume that me just having this stuff on means I'm aggressive, right? I assure you, none of this is going to go off.
These
something
people
go off.
Roll me a D100. Roll me a D100.
Sorry.
Please be a nat 100. Please be a nat 100.
I like that immediately before that roll, it said water is bad, or water equals bad is typing right before that.
Whoa, hold on.
Don't worry, we cast destroy water on it before he walked in.
Whatever works.
We are in the process of discussing the possibilities. These people, they are strong in many ways, but they are reluctant to take action, even against those that harm what is sacred to them, like the forests. The captain was taking them to go and look at, the areas where the damage was made. Corwin offered to escort us. They had passed through the area, and Clyde and Sindri were all in told to go as well.
Might have already spotted. The princess wanted to come along, and I'll kind of step aside and usher her forward.
Her eyes have been kind of looking around at all these individuals and just kind of taking in these sights. I had heard about the Tamagons, but they are truly magnificent. Master Finavra, it's good to see you. And she kind of gives a slight curtsy, and Damocles gives a bow of his head. Princess? Again, you all will be safe. If you would like to rest and relax, there is food. He kind of points over to another table where there is this elegant meal that has been made that is kind of half-eaten from some of those who had been participating, but there's plenty of food left.
No booze, though. Clyde took it all.
There's
Probably why they made you leave.
You said open bar. We didn't mean like this.
There's actually not much booze made here, and Clyde would not have been able to find any, leading to many of the rants towards Cade.
Yeah, he's not going to be doing great, guys.
Yes, well then, I think we'll set aside until the captain and our companions come back. I'll do my best to keep everyone out of trouble. And Cade's eye twitch a little bit because she's deliberately looking at Boko and know that he is like analyzing everyone.
Boko shoots an eye over to Clyde, whose form is Cade. To Cade, whose form is lopsided slightly with all that gold they got from their last misadventure.
And at that, there is a pretty heavy booming voice from the front of the room as this individual, this man with the red hair, kind of stands up.
No, please. Don't go off to the corner. I'd like to hear our newcomer's perspective on the situation. Please come join us.
You don't have to ask me twice.
And Boko, as you look,
ask me twice.
As you look at this individual, you don't see any signs. They're in basic clothing, but you can see their hands up to their elbows and almost mid arm. Their whole face, much of their kind of bare feet, none of that appears to have any sign of this same malady that the others have. Though they do have the very long hair, again, that hits the floor at its length. It is far longer than any others you've seen.
But they're not changing at all.
Not that you can see, no.
Does this one have a picture?
It does. I need to upload it real fast, but I'll do that as we're talking.
Nice.
Closer than a lot of other people.
We may be comparatively to those who are islands away, but there are many miles of mountainous terrain between us and them. And those who would risk coming to this part have much to pass through outside of the trees.
Out of curiosity, I'm trying to recall the stuff that we've heard. The pirates are approaching the Tamargons because they believe in protecting nature just like the Tritons do.
Indeed.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
How difficult was it for us to get here?
By whale? Not terribly. By ship, considerably.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
You guys didn't have to worry about the ice.
protected in this small corner of the world, does that truly mean that nothing else affects you? What these people are doing is ravaging the land that you share with them, to be quite frank, even if you are further north than everyone else. And it doesn't just affect us. That kind of destruction, what they're doing, I've only heard of it, and it makes me shudder with the amount of destruction that they have already done, and I'm sure there's more to come. Do you really think that that's not going to eventually affect you?
And why should it? Why would they need to come this far? Their goals lie elsewhere.
Their goals lie elsewhere, but their resources lie here.
It is much easier to chop down a tree in a warm environment than a cold one.
Out of curiosity, yeah. Why is it so warm here?
How does it feel to be in our proximity? We are the Tamagons. We, this tribe, descends from red, and thus our very being is one of fire and brimstone. By our proximity we bring heat, and thus a fertility to a land that was once cold and bitter.
Do you think that's not something that these people might want to take advantage of?
Rip you out, put you to work, make more land fertile that was once cold and bitter to grow more trees for their axes.
There will always be those who wish to abuse and use others. But what you speak of is possibilities. Mere concepts. We have lived here for centuries without issue. And what you ask is for my people to forsake their vows. To grab weapons and take up arms to fight and to kill and be killed.
All to defend and protect.
What might not even come to pass. And that's assuming that you are telling the truth.
I need not lie about this situation. I've seen the destruction that they've brought to the way of life that I am used to and that many others are. But the kind of destruction that they bring, that they are attempting to spread, there's greed underneath it all. And greed like that, I find, rarely knows any bounds.
Question for you, DM.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any religious icons in this room?
Give me a religion or history check. So what you see is not religious icons, but that of draconic iconography, and pretty old draconic iconography. Though the inscriptions, the carvings, the symbols here are all much newer than the dialect or the context that they're made within. And you remember back somehow these vague memories of a battle far beyond your time between dragons and men. And you remember these creatures that were made, that were half dragon and half man, to fight on the side of the dragons and end essentially all humankind. And they spread like a wildfire. They were incredibly fast to repopulate and grow and get to an aggressive age. And then the humans released some sort of disease that spread out and took these dragonborn and made most of their children unable to survive the first few days after birth. And it was known as it was an incredibly effective, essentially chemical or medicinal weapon, and ended up being one of the things that shifted the war back into a finalized state. Now, these individuals are not dragonborn, and they don't seem to have the same traits, but they do. That iconography is from that time, or seems to be.
And it seems to hold a lot of weight to them.
It seems to be baked into their language and culture, not necessarily like a religion or something sacred, but just in something that is. Like, that is how they write. Like, if you saw a street sign, it would be written in this way, but that way is very antiquated. It's like seeing a sign or walking into a restaurant and all the menus are in Shakespearean English. Like, it's just so weird and out of context. Yeah, it's so weird and out of context, in addition to being in a different language often. But that you're able to kind of place and tie to a certain time that has a lot of draconic history, but these people don't really fit into the story that you know.
I think that gives me a good idea of what to say then. I think Boko will try to back up Cade on this one, and he will say, the reason we approach you is not to bring you to our cause and cause you to fight for us, but to open your eyes to what is happening on the banks. These people are spreading a corruption into the waters, into the trees. Every soul they kill is that who is slain by violence. Even their spirit corrupts the afterlives. We are not asking you to get involved to assist us. We are asking you to show your own self-preservation, because this corruption will not spare anything in its way.
These are the kind of people who fear that which they do not understand. And what they fear they destroy. We're not asking you to make a preemptive strike. We are warning you that the last stand starts now. And we want to give you a fighting chance.
And say what you can, deny your involvement. But even you, this powerful tribe, depends on the earth. And soon it will be gone from beneath your feet.
Boko, go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Alright, come on, Boko.
I don't know why I get myself involved in this.
Come on, Boko.
Because we're all talking.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice. Does Boko have it?
Inspiration.
Boko does have inspiration. At advantage because we're all talking.
That's infinitely better.
Let's go! Not a 1!
Who's ready for initiative?
Oh God!
We're gonna kill all the pacifists so that they know what violence is.
I'll show you.
I'll show you pacifism.
I suppose my brand new stance with all my bone jewelry and a small effigy hanging from my bandolier.
Not be wearing that.
Yeah, you are not the person to roll persuasion checks in this party.
Yeah, first of all, what are you doing?
Hey, I just
could
gave
be
a
worse.
good speech, that's all.
You did, that's true. Oh dear.
That wasn't an actual roll. I was just saying it could be worse, and then I failed to roll worse.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. How many people that you know have you seen perish by violence?
Dozens.
More than I would care to count.
Old age.
Is he asking Boko specifically or to the group?
He seems to be asking Boko specifically.
Oh,
But in this moment, as people throw out answers and Boko thinks, he continues on.
Here, we grow old and die in peaceful lives. I've not watched fathers bury their children. I have not watched anger consume those that I love. I have lived a full life, and I wish the same for my children. What you are asking will mean the death of many of my people. Even if you are right, even if they are to come here, is it not better to take that risk and then fight for our homes than to give in to the act of aggression and strike out of fear and malice?
Remind me, Boko, are the pirates that we're dealing with, they're not affiliated with Karnath at all, are they?
Nope.
Okay. About to say, there's certain implications that could come up if they were. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna say it anyway. Okay. Understandably so. I certainly would never want to see your people perish. However, I've seen, I'm going to say horrors beyond my wildest beliefs in my particular field. And that would be, not only would you have to watch people die, but then you would have to watch them come back to life and kill other people. Possibly the remainder of your own once they die.
Do you have evidence that these threats are involved in what you speak?
Oh, on death and resurrection? I have absolutely no clue if they're currently leveraging that kind of thing. However, I'm just saying it as, I suppose, one observer to another in this particular case. That there are things that I never imagined would happen that I watched happen before my eyes, and by the time you watch it, sometimes it's too late.
You all paint more theoreticals. Go. I have agreed to think upon what you have said, but your group is still out finding more evidence. Wait until they return and we will discuss more. Until then, my mind is set.
Kind of look towards the group. I mean, I suppose that seems fair for the moment.
Looking out to the crowd, I imagine we've probably drawn a spectacle.
So you guys are in this building, and there's only, you've kind of been watched by the few kind of elders or rulers who are in here, but otherwise it's empty outside of the pirates and who they're discussing with. So you haven't drawn much of a crowd. I mean, it's been a silence around the room as they're all watching and listening, but outside of, but that's really it for now.
But there's here.
Before we walk away, Cade will just very quietly say, "Don't let the beauty and the peace of this place blind you to the hardships that are elsewhere. If you have power to effect change, isn't it the responsibility of those to wield it judiciously?" And then she'll just kind of walk away.
And as you all are kind of walking out of the building, by the doorway stands a woman, not bearing much, just a basic cloth that kind of covers some of her body, and some bones are kind of strapped across to keep it up. But again, her long red hair behind her.
Try not to worry too much. He's set in his ways for a long time, but he just cares a lot about his people. He'll make what decision is best. If it matters, I understand where you all are coming from.
No, I don't blame him for his thinking or his thoughts. If I had known nothing but peace, everyone around me had died of old age and never had seen war, that's a hard place to shift from.
This place is idyllic, but we do have the things that we care of. Most importantly is the land that we live and survive off of. And if your companions come back with proof that the forest has been damaged, that will go a long way in persuading my father's heart.
How long ago did our companions leave to find this evidence?
About a day and a half ago.
Boko will look to Roland and to Cade. Perhaps we should aid them in their search.
Damocles said that they would be back today.
It's about a day's journey to where they said they were going, so they should be on the return trip now, but if you'd like to go and find your own evidence, you certainly could.
We have to assume that they are capable and they have that journey covered. Perhaps we should take our own.
Are we going to take another princess on a dangerous journey?
No, the princess doesn't have to come with.
I mean, what are we going to do? Take pictures?
No. There is a connection between the spirit world and the trees and the earth. Some say they flow within each other, through each other. It is something perhaps we could cover more ground, but I will not know until I see it.
The woman kind of smiles a bit.
You have an understanding that may help you. Your companions, they went into the edge of the forest, again, a day's journey away to try and find some of the wood that was burnt, to bring it back to show my father. But there is another path. As you say, the forest is all connected, and you heard my father mention there is more than just trees out in this wood. It's maybe possible, if you take the half-day journey to the edge of the wood, past the mountains, you may be able to find and contact the guardian of the forest. If you could somehow persuade it to fight or even agree with your perspective, my father would never stand against a creature such as this.
I am going.
What kind of guardian is this?
You can see her struggling to find the right answer.
The guardian is an immense beast, but of what kind I could not tell you. We simply refer to it as Fafnir.
Roland is also going.
And he is the protector of these lands.
Yes, of a way.
I suppose it couldn't hurt to gather more of our own info.
Are you prepared for a mountain excursion, and do you have any idea how to travel across such lands?
I have some experience, but
Yes,
not
you
with
have
these
some
mountains.
experience falling from a bridge while attached to a rope.
I know that my siblings and we are more of adventurous heart than my father. We would like to see the world and experience it, even if it is through conflict. And we are invested in protecting this realm, no matter what it costs us. My sister and brother, Gwyn and Garrix, they would be good to help you traverse and help provide you some protection against the elements if you needed it.
I don't think we would say no to a guide.
Then have you decided to go? I can go and get them, and they could be ready whenever you would like to depart.
Well, I know Boko's on board, but what about the rest of you?
Princess, is this what we're doing?
I think this sounds fascinating, Corn.
I mean, I'm certainly down. This seems like a very interesting excursion here.
I would advise against any extra unnecessary adventures.
Oh, you're awake, Nereus. Where is your understanding of a bit of fun? How often do we get to walk mainland, much less meet a guardian beast? This is the adventure of a lifetime. We have to go.
Yes, perhaps the end of a lifetime.
Well, listen, I'm going. If you all would like to stay here, you're more than welcome.
Princess, before we go, your brother gave me these, and Gorham's going to give her a silver band. Wear this. Or a platinum band.
If I put this on, can we go?
Yes.
Done.
Well, all right. There we go. Easy deal.
It's like it's a taser. She passes out.
That would just be mean.
That'd be kind of brilliant, though.
All right. You all go have fun. We'll be here.
Boko's gonna try to pull Roland to the side while all this is going on. Boko's just gonna say, as we wait for the physical guides they are bringing to us, I would like to recruit you for some assistance in calling upon a spiritual guide of some kind.
Is this part of your...
Yes, and it will require you to bleed quite a lot. Is this acceptable?
Bleed.
You must speak up. I can't hear you over your fear.
It's like, shh, don't struggle as the earth consumes you.
10 minutes, quick adventure. Like, there and back, like, no big deal. Roland, look at me. We both know you seek to understand that which cannot be explained. I simply wish to offer you a peek into something beyond what you can normally see.
See, I don't have to bleed for a book.
No, but this one has pictures.
I mean, a picture book, that's pretty good.
Oof. He's considering it.
He's thinking.
Why do I have to bleed? I can just like stand by and watch you do it and then bring you back up when you do something stupid.
Because in order to be specific about who we see, we must offer something in return.
I like how Boko just goes around asking for sacrifices.
What's funny is how many people accept.
We're going to see Fafnir. I don't see how... Which, by the way, do I recognize that name?
Roll me a history check.
Oh no. It's a giant wolf.
That's Fenrir. Fafnir is a dragon.
Oh, yeah.
At least in Norse mythology, shit. We're at the 4.
We can gather some more dragon parts.
The term is certainly of your language and does mean dragon. It's not exactly it's not exactly an exact translation, but it's like a synonym of that's rarely used and found in some books, but is certainly of your language, which is real weird coming from these people.
Although it does make sense, they've got like draconic shit everywhere. It would make sense that their guardian is a dragon.
Growing on them.
Do you know what? No, of course you don't know what Fafnir means. It means dragon. I don't think bleeding is a good idea prior to dragon. It will happen after dragon.
Or during.
Interesting. Do you remember the fire that happened in Port Verge? The dragon fire.
Fire is very memorable to me, yes.
Would it change your mind if I told you the person who was responsible for that dragon fire taught me this ritual?
Wait, I'm sorry. You know who lit the hospital on fire?
Yes. Perhaps I can introduce you.
And you didn't think to tell me?
Usually research with other people.
I can't imagine why. Okay. I am asking now. Dragonfire, you know the person. We're going to go see a dragon. We are with dragony people right now. Much dragon. Wow. Speak.
I was having a conversation with Israel the other day, and he told me that when somebody asks you a question, usually you can manipulate them into doing something you wish before answering. Does this time qualify as one of those?
Wow. Damn.
Normally manipulation works better when they don't know what you're going for. This is more negotiation, but I understand what you're saying. I take payment up front.
Do I trust Roland? Yeah, I won't even make an insight check. I will trust you. You have not lied so far. Boko will say, there is a being of some kind who operates in between worlds. It is complicated, I suppose. But this individual seems to not be very fond with the path that I've chosen to walk after receiving his teachings. And as punishment for crafting a device for Tove, he sought to set fire to the building that housed her. Does this answer your question?
No, it generated so many more. who is he?
That is also a very good question. I don't know.
And why does he have bearing on what we're about to walk into?
I also do not know.
So why do I need to plead for someone who's already not happy with you?
No. You don't understand. You do not bleed for a person. You bleed as tribute to open yourself up to something else. This is not I suppose one could think of it as a kind of transaction. However, the expulsion of life force is something that is more serving as a conduit of some kind. It is not that I know of a price to be paid to someone or something.
So it's blood magic.
No, it is just magic that involves blood.
I feel like these conversations go this direction a little too often.
They do.
And I feel like everyone knows exactly what Boko's talking about whenever he drags someone away.
Your time?
Okay, Roland has spied on so many of these.
I have attempted to. I've never actually caught you.
Oh, awesome.
You've always succeeded on your stealth roll to get away from me. Boko, you realize I am a priest?
Yes. Who do you call upon when you need assistance?
Anatar. The god of, crafting and knowledge and not doing things with blood?
You want to know who I call upon?
Blood.
No. A simple misunderstanding, you see. Many people have moved through this light before we have. They have come and they have gone and they have learned things that you and I may never see before or ever see again. Their knowledge does not die with them, you see. You can call upon it. And sometimes, depending on who it is, they answer and grant you a peek into what once was.
So it's blood necromancy.
No. Do you pray, Roland?
Currently am, yes.
Does anyone answer?
Depends on what you mean by answer. I am able to bend the weave of magic to the will of my god.
You've seen what I can do. Do you think me evil?
That's a very good question.
A question you have no doubt pondered before.
I have seen what you can do, and what you can do is generally done by people who are evil, but you, I do not believe, are evil.
And you, praying to the god of crafting and creation, know what tools are and what they can be used for in the hands of those that use them.
I see where you are going with this. I don't like it. Some tools are dangerous. Some tools take more than they say they will, and sometimes it is more than you are able to give.
This I know all too well. And so, if this is to happen, you need to be absolutely sure. Because hesitation and fear only invites darkness. They will see it. That is something we cannot afford.
In my world where I come from, purging hesitation and fear is what brings darkness. Have you ever fought a berserker?
No.
I have. He did not hesitate, and he was not afraid. Until his hand fell to the ground, removed from his body.
Boko looks down at his own hand.
We are at odds on this, Boko. You have your tools and I have mine.
I understand. These offer remains open if you wish to see the other side. You need only ask. And if there is someone you have lost, perhaps if the fates are kind, you may see them once more.
I appreciate the offer. I have seen the darkness of the other side, and I prefer this side. And I try every day to stay on this side. Some days work better than others.
Boko nods. One last favor I may ask then. Buy me but a few moments before all of us leave. Perhaps a lone cry will be enough to bring somebody to our aid. A guide from beyond. I will be back shortly.
I will go. Just because I will not use the tool does not mean that I won't protect you while you do. I will go with you. I will see to it that it does not take too much.
Boko thinks for a long time, but will nod. Okay. But no matter what you see or what you hear, do not leave the circle. Understand?
Something my people fail to understand. Courage is not the absence of fear, but victory over it.
Let's go. Boko's gonna try to find a quiet place off the beaten path.
As you guys begin heading off, there's this gravelly voice, this rocky sound that comes out from nearby, and only Roland's ears pick up and understand the words. But Roland, you can hear this kind of deeper female voice that kind of calls out, Wait. So somebody is actually going to find where the guardian dragon is? Oh, this I gotta see. As you and Boko are heading off.
Shit.
This is gonna be awesome.
I don't like this. I don't like any of this.
It means
I don't like any of this.
Hey.
Also, I'm the only one that speaks Draconic. I'm gonna have to make the persuasion check with my -2.
For what it's worth, it's going to be.
Dragon probably speaks common.
It's going to be incredibly good for us to have as a leverage piece for trying to convince them what we want. It's called making a sale. Now, unfortunately, the sale is big and dragon-shaped in this case, but it's a sale nonetheless.
Again, dragons are intelligent beings. He probably speaks more than just Draconic.
Yes, dragons are intelligent beings. That's what worries me. We're bringing Boko.
Hey.
But hey,
I will talk to
Cade or Sindri.
For what it's worth, I can
Here,
talk
dodge
to
the
him
bullet there.
first. And if it doesn't work out, then Boko can talk to him.
All right.
Eh?
And
So
then we die quickly.
I would argue that Boko is persuasive. It's not the content that's the issue, it's the delivery.
It's the smile while he says it.
I don't know. Sometimes it's the content as well.
So Boko and Roland, you guys head off to this kind of quiet area, a little bit a ways from the village, and where there are a little bit thicker tree cover, but where the snow started to fall through and the chill has kind of come back into the air. Boko, what are you doing?
Boko's going to reach into the bag of holding, pull out his cloak, wrap it around him, pull out the helmet, don that deer skull helmet. He's going to draw a circle in the dirt, set down.
Not absence victory, not absence victory, not absence victory, not absence victory.
He's going to reach into the pouch, pull out some silver dust running along the back of his hand. Ritual dagger comes out across the palm and then dip his fingers into phosphorus and begin rubbing them together as it sparks this flame that starts red, and as it catches the blood turns this purple color. And he is going to call out to the spirits and see if any in this area respond.
How many hit dice are you rolling?
I am going to roll on the table. I am not going to try to choose.
Oh, okay.
We're going to see what fate decides this time.
Okay.
Let's see. That's a big number. I don't know who this is.
Uh-oh.
Can I preemptively cast Spare the Dying?
You can. What good it will do, I don't know. So, Roland, as you're sitting in this circle, you start to see as Boko invokes this ritual in this garb, and for a moment you're like, maybe he is a little evil. And the shadows start to swirl around, and all the rest of the world around you starts to fade into this darkness, and it is just you and Boko, and Boko's facial features have darkened within this skull. All you see is this bleached skeletal figure hovering almost, and these hands outstretched that have this purple magic around this blade. As it is struck across, the magic imbibed in all of these spectral figures start to appear in the darkness, not in any form that is understandable, but you know that they are spirits, that they are presences, that they are close enough to feel their breath on the back of your neck, and yet you can't bring yourself to reach out and touch. You feel bound to this space. And as Boko calls out, there is this small bead of white light that breaks through the shadow, almost like a firefly as it traces around the circle. As it breaks bigger, you see these wings start to spread, and this large bird begins to fly closer, spectral though, in this white and yellow color, these long wings of a crane. As it flies one lap and two, it begins to land, and as it bursts forth from the shadow, it's not a bird, but a long white robe, a large white wide-brimmed hat of an elderly woman. as she breathes forward, and even though her form is spectral, you can almost see what this person would have looked like in life. The soft but somewhat leathery skin, the thick wrinkles under her eyes, even the tone of the skin that was there, the color of the eyes, this soft graying color that has just got the last bit of life of an elderly woman about to leave this world. And her form is small, not much bigger than the bird that had flown around, but it has a strength in it. And as it passes forward out of the shadow, kind of floating towards Boko's regalia, it calls out to you, Boko. And Roland, you don't hear the words, but you can see it speaking to him. You bring someone into the circle, but they are not here. Not truly. They see, but they cannot touch. You, though, you have called out for a boon, and a boon you shall have. What is it you search for, my chap?
Boko pauses a moment, and he says, "Please forgive my visitor. He still tangles with his fear. It holds sway over him.
As it does
And
many.
This is true. Me and my friends, we search for a guardian creature deep within the woods. Unfortunately, these woods are home to creatures who are headstrong, yet still have their head buried within the sand. We search for a sign. We search for corruption. We search to bend the ear of a guardian dragon. And with this, I imagine we will need all the help we can receive.
Well, then you are in luck. I provide many wisdom, wealth, or prosperity. Which path do you think lies with your goals that you sit?
Wealth and prosperity have little meaning to me at the moment. If you would lend your wisdom, I would be appreciative. And if there is a price, you need only ask.
Your price will come in time, lost boy. But that is not for me to measure out. My gift is yours,
and this mote of white magic floats from her fingertips right into the alabaster skull on Boko's head. And Roland, again, you can't hear the words, but you can see the movements, and you see this mote of energy pass into him.
Good luck in your quest.
And with that, she floats and seems to lift up as wings spread out, and she transforms once again into this crane and flies off into the shadow. And unlike flying like a two-dimensional element, this seems to fly and fly and fly as she gets smaller and smaller and smaller until she's consumed by the darkness. And as soon as that light is gone, the shadows swirl and stop closing around, and you all are in that forest with the soft snow once again.
Boko doesn't even remove the helmet. He just looks over at a Roland, signifying that's the end of it. He'll reach over with the hand and break the circle. You have seen to the other side now.
Blood magic.
Boko smiles at him, pulls the
Don't do
the
that.
helmet
It
off.
doesn't help.
Now you understand the full story, though. When something happens, when the change approaches or appears, you will know why.
Sure. Sure. We'll go with that. How you feeling?
Surprisingly, that went pretty well, actually. But
It seemed to go well. There's no blood coming from your eyes or ears, which is always a good sign.
Be careful that isn't straight.
however, now it is time. I believe we have a dragon to find.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I should have bled.
Damn.
We do. We do.
You
Against
better watch
all
yourself. You're gonna get fucking insight checked.
Oh, got us.
sanity and better judgment, we have a dragon to find.
Befriend. Befriend.
Nope.
If we did, would you come with us?
Yes.
Damn, yeah, I guess
You've gone fishing for one already with you as the bait.
yeah, I have met. This is like my second dragon in a month.
So as the two of you return back, you see the rest of the party now talking to a larger Tamargon male. His just shirtless, but his skin is kind of this dark grayish color. Still that same red hair, and he actually has a thin chin strap red beard. And you can see that the chin is actually poking out with these spines, and it rises up towards the face where these fangs are clearly poking out of his mouth. And he's, again, much like his father, very muscular. The woman beside him is much leaner, and she wears no shoes. She actually has these claw-like feet that have come out, and the scales have spread up the backs of her legs, and she has a tail that pokes out from the clothes, and this axe over her shoulder, as she just looks and smiles and is talking to the rest, trying to convince them. She looks over. Oh, well, it's good to see you finally showed up. Apparently we were waiting on you before we could go. You all ready now? I'm Greta. This is Garrix. Let's get a move on. We want to make it before sundown. We got to get going.
And let us go.
And she begins just with that stepping off. And as she moves off, the quieter male Tamargon kind of begins to step behind her. The two of them moving, and as soon as they hit the snow immediately starts to melt and pool around her feet. And there's this warmth of air around you all as you are kind of passing along with them. So it'll be about maybe a couple hour journey. Then we'll see if you all get eaten, and then we'll go back home. It'll be great.
It's nothing here.
I can't imagine the family would be hungry for us, right? I mean, if it's a guardian, it probably would like something a little larger scale.
If it's a guardian, it's probably hungry for anything entering its realm that it's guarding without its permission.
Who knows? None of us have seen it. I'm so excited.
Oh, wonderful.
You guys really think you'll get it to talk to you?
I'm certainly hoping so. That's usually my main strength, is talking to people.
Me and Gianna took a bet. We'll see which one of us is right.
The goat. And Roland is going to look him dead in the eye and ask, do you speak Draconic in Draconic?
Yep, definitely speak it.
And she responds in common.
Yes.
Rats! I knew I should have studied something about this.
Boko's gonna look at this female Tamargon and he's gonna say, a friend of mine has taught me recently how to gamble. Is there a way to get involved in these?
Yeah, well, now hold on a second. Usually the people involved in the bet can't actually put in the...
No. Clyde definitely told him that if you want to do bets really good, you make sure you're involved with the outcome.
See, but that's...
May not be charismatic, but I hang out with all the charismatic dudes.
Picking up all the wrong habits.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Listen. What do you have to bet exactly?
Do you like gold?
Gold? Like the color? I'm just messing with you. We've got gold here, but
yeah, Boko's
no,
got
I
his
don't.
head in his bag of holding, like.
Out of curiosity, this bet wouldn't have to do with whether we live or die, would it?
If we die, we do not need the gold anyway.
Boko, I'm just gonna take him over to the side.
That's the idea. You put the money down on you living, so either you double your money or you're dead.
Listen, I don't want your money, and I don't really want you to die, but it would be interesting if I watched a dragon eat you guys.
This is true.
I won't deny that might be very interesting. I would not like to be part of that, but...
Listen. If you guys don't have anything, then I'm not interested. But if you want to make some sort of bet that is amenable to me, then yeah, no, I'll listen. And the other Tamargon, the male, kind of just grunts and kind of rolls its eyes. Oh, Garrix, you're no fun.
Boko's gonna look at this female Tamargon and he's gonna say, you know, our group is something sort of experts at getting nearly eaten by things.
Oh, music to my ears.
Should we survive this encounter? Perhaps you lend us your fighting prowess for some time.
What did you have in mind?
Capable.
Well, I don't toot my own horn.
If it comes down to it, you may see that we are not terrible to be around. Most of us. He looks at Roland.
Hey!
I don't know, you all kind of smell like fish.
It was the last thing that almost ate us.
Nah.
We still have not gotten rid of the smell.
Yeah.
That might have actually been true. Boko will lean over and smell Cade. Does she smell like fish?
You all smell like
Where
fish.
do you smell?
You spent 2 weeks in a whale's mouth. I'm not sure what you expected.
Yes, that's true. I mean, we are experts at
Constant prestidigitation. No. That just covers the scent.
Listen, I'm super interested in getting to swing my axe at more than just trees every once in a while, but I don't see how that is a bet.
I like your personality. Yes, this is fun. I think we're going to get along.
I think you're fun too, Metal Man.
I bet you we survive this.
Garrix, do you think he's like a short person in there, or do you think he fills out the whole thing? Oh, it doesn't matter.
So I just look down. Now, what would the logistics of... whatever. As Boko said, though, can we put down money on us living?
Intercomic.
No. Listen, I don't want your money. Listen, we are a village in the middle of nowhere. We don't even get freaking traders. You think I want gold to spend on stuff?
I happen to be a merchant of my own right, but I suppose if you don't have any gold that you're wanting to trade and whatnot, we can figure it out at a later time.
Well, you seemed interesting, but then you got boring. So if you think of something interesting, I'll be over here. Come on, guys. It's not too much farther. And she kind of like skips ahead through the snow as it melts and kind of washes away, sizzling.
I'll just laugh to myself and just kind of tighten the grip on the new blade attachment on my armor. Oh, I assure you, this is going to become quite interesting.
I'm going to look at the Schalt and just say, I am unfamiliar with this part of gambling. Is this where we go all in?
Boko, my friend, I assure you, if we find this Fafnir, it's going to have to be all in.
Very well. Pardon me, miss. Boko's going to pull out something to bet.
Listen, if you're trying to go all in on me, it better be exciting.
Boko's going to pull out a small seed from the Tree of Life.
Oh.
What exactly is that supposed to be?
This is a seed directly from the Tree of Life itself.
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion check.
Eventually, one of these is going to have to work.
Not this one,
You
though.
are... you're totally bullshitting right now, right?
No.
He took it from a museum.
I did not take it. It was given to me. After I jumped out of something very high.
Garrick's kind of looks over. That's definitely just a freaking acorn.
However, should you take this bet, this acorn is yours.
What does it do?
It grows a tree in your likeness, giving you immortality. At least one time.
I don't know if I know what that means, but I'm intrigued. And your ability to sell this acorn is also intriguing. Do you have anything to sweeten the pot?
You will no longer have to listen to us if we die and you win these.
Hell yeah, let's do it. What do you want?
I don't. Boko, what's the price?
I think we could use all of the allies we can gather. If we make it out of here alive, you travel with us.
For how long?
Couple days. I think that is all it'll take for you guys to understand what lies beyond. I think by then we will have you.
What you want is boring, but sure. You're in.
Roland, tell her the story of that thing with the tentacles.
And as you guys begin trading backstory,
Going to have to be more specific. We fought a lot of tentacles.
At the beginning.
beginning. Why did that give me vibes of the bat where it's like, and then I'll kick you. Oh man. But yeah, so as you guys begin to traverse along this, it's a few hours of travel, but eventually you find this edge of the forest here. And Greta and Garrick's kind of hang back and motion you guys forward. And as you approach this general area, which looks like a tree line, you can see the sun is getting lower and starting to cast shadows through the trees. What all are you doing to try and find this mysterious guardian?
Austin?
Yes?
Can you hear Colleen?
No, I cannot. Oh, hold on.
We can.
Oh, let me check.
I was like, oh, huh?
I was like, could anyone hear me? It's always iffy with Discord.
I don't know what happened. I can hear you now, though, Colleen.
Oh, okay. I asked if this place was like ominous, normal trees, normal forests. Like, is there anything out of the ordinary?
Give me an insight or nature check.
I guess, can I look around for any sort of like symbology? Maybe something that would be like, maybe. Oh, hey, nice insight.
Yeah, you can give me an investigation check if you want, the Shalt.
Cool.
So Colleen.
Nice.
Colleen, you can looking around. The time of day is kind of somewhat ominous in just the shadows that it's stretching, but it looks like a normal forest for the most part. And as you are kind of looking around, you can see that Greta and Garrix are kind of whispering behind, clearly trying to plan something, and you can catch enough of it to know that they're trying to plan some way of making this seem a lot more scary than perhaps it is, and clearly not taking this very seriously.
Okay.
The Shalt, as you're looking around, sorry, Boko, did you want to do something first?
I can wait until after the Shalt.
The Shalt, you're looking around, and at first you don't notice much. I mean, there's thick snow here. You would imagine that you'd see anything. You can see your guys' trail for way back up into the mountains. And then you look across one tree, and one of the trees has these deep, thick marks across. Just two of them, but long gouges into the bark.
I guess I'll point out Boko and Roland especially first. What do you suppose made that? I mean, it could be claws, right? But it's two of them. So my assumption is, I mean, if this guardian's huge, probably would have killed the tree. So I don't think that's necessarily it. But that begs the question, what was it?
There's probably a bunch of creatures out here.
No, I don't think there's a bunch of creatures that can make... I mean, how big are these gashes?
It's a decently large tree. They're like a foot maybe long and maybe a couple inches wide.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like this would have had to at least be a decently sized creature. Either that or possibly an axe. Although I don't suppose that this one would have probably told us that. Well, actually, let me ask. Hey, you wouldn't have happened to hit this tree with an axe, would you?
I've never been over here. I don't think so. Let me check it out. And she kind of like wanders forward and begins to kind of like look it over. Maybe I might have... And you can hear her scream, and she kind of gets pulled into the snow and kind of is rustling around as snow is starting to fly up into the air.
Cade, stand still.
Boko, what'd you say?
Does she actually look like she's in danger?
Make me an insight check.
With your new wisdom.
Insight.
Nice 9.
Oh my gosh.
She does kind of look like... You swear that you saw something kind of pull her off her feet into the woods.
I'll probably start following
and you
after.
can see her kind of struggling into the snow just out of sight.
I'll follow after. I want to know what this is.
I will cast go rescue her.
I will cast dancing lights and bloop, 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 out there, kind of hemming in around to provide light in the area to make sure we don't lose her.
So as you kind of pull this light up around and the Shalt, you kind of step in looking around. You can hear her kind of still screaming as you and Boko are stepping up, and then the screams start to turn to laughter as you get closer and closer. You see her just over there doing kind of snow angels, and she's just laughing. Oh, I got you guys good. Oh, man.
Out of curiosity, how long does the snow usually like? Is the snow melting around her actively?
Oh
or-
yeah, absolutely. It's like she's
Okay.
completely drenched at this point.
Interesting.
But it's pretty thick snow to start with.
So the snow remains for just a little bit afterwards, huh? So I'm just gonna pull out a notebook and write down a couple notes. Interesting.
I know I am. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Anyways,
Are there a bunch of trees around here?
There are. Yeah, you guys are kind of at the edge where the forest starts to get thick.
I think I'm gonna pull out the knife again, drive it into the leg,
Oi.
and
Oh gosh.
I am going to merge with my chimera, and I am going to grant myself advantage on survival checks.
You get used to it.
Okay.
Don't worry.
No, you don't.
As Boko does so, though, his one wooden arm starts to sprout these little flowers along it, and he's going to say, "I think I'm going to take a look and see what we can see from above." And he's going to just try to run up one of the trees.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, with that, you kind of climb your way up to the top, and you're trying to look for any sort of sign of something.
Specifically at the treetop level to see if there are any that are broken or look like they have been chronically deformed by wing beats.
Sure, give me a perception check.
While he's doing that, I'll just
instead.
Sure, I'll allow that. Yeah.
Well, he's doing that. I guess I'll just ask again. So Gash is back there. Bad? Good?
I mean, it's a gash. Well, like, honestly, what would this dragon even do with it? Like, how does that even make sense?
Well, right, but if that thing didn't make it and you didn't make it, then I'm a little worried at what did.
Actually, I use it for cleaning my teeth.
Oh, alright.
And this deep voice begins to resonate out. And you see this long toothy maw start to apparate nearby, almost from the darkness itself, as it is grinding one of the trees between two of its teeth as it stretches out 10, 15, 20 feet long, and these eyes just perk up from the darkness. And that's where we're going to go ahead and leave things off.
From the treetops, you hear Boko. Good news, I have found the dragon.
Excellent work! I just responded to it assuming it was the other guy, and I guess I'm gonna turn around like, oh!
Good thing I took proficiency in survival. I hope I survive.
Gosh. All right, we'll see y'all next week. Tune in then to see more of this crazy shenanigans. We'll see you then.